What is your least favorite part of bulk ammunition reloading? For me, the answer is easy. Loading primer tubes. Gavin Gear here from ultimatereloader.com. The product in this box is brand new. Pre-orders just opened up today, and this product could change how I feel about bulk ammo reloading, because this product, it promises to make loading primer tubes easy, hands-off, and quick. In this video, I'm going to unbox the Primer Pro from Double Alpha Industries. I'm going to show you how it works. We're going to set it all up. We're going to talk about how it's unique. And of course, we're going to load some primers. So let's get this box open. This is exactly how the box came to me from the Netherlands, where this product was designed and where it's shipped from. And so, being a nearly production-ready unit, the parts should all be what you'll see in the final version. The packaging, instructions, and that kind of thing are subject to change, as you might imagine. Okay, a box within a box. There we go. So this is the actual box. Oh, can't wait to see what's in here. I've been anticipating this for a while. Okay, here it is. Hopefully you can see that well. This is the unit. See right here, Primer Pro. Okay, and then we've got the box. This is pretty simple. So this product is multi-voltage, which is great. Mine came with the North American power adapter pre-installed. This is 120 volts AC, but we've also got a European type 200 volt, 40 volt AC adapter here as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a moment to read the instructions, which I printed out from a PDF. I'm going to get familiar with this unit. We'll load it with primers. We'll talk about the unique design, and then that's going to make my reloading all the better. So I read through the quick start guide. I got out my Dillon XL750, which is hungry for primers. I've plugged in the AC adapter into 120 volt AC power source. There's just a couple things that we need to do to get the Primer Pro ready to use. In the bottom, looking into the enclosure here, there's a box that has a power jack on it, and we're just going to insert the end of the AC adapter into that, and then there's a strain relief built into the cable. You can see this rectangular cutout here on the housing. That's just going to push in place. That's going to keep that power jack from getting any strain on it. And when we switch on the power, we're going to see the LED flash a few times. Interesting thing about the Primer Pro, it is programmed with this optical sensor, which is multifunction, to load 99 primers into a tube at a time. There's a specific reason for the number 99. Sometimes at 100 and right around there, or if you get 101, if an extra primer falls down, these Dillon primer tubes can actually overflow and jam a little bit. So 99 is the magic number. We're only going to need one primer tube, because we can always keep this primer tube on the Primer Pro, and by the time we need another stack of primers, this tube is ready to go well before then, actually. So I've got my Dillon small primer tube. This is a small primer oriented product for the time being. The reason is, I learned from talking with the team at Double Alpha, is in Europe, the predominant primer size is small. And for competitive pistol and competitive rifle calibers, if you look at things like 9mm and 223 Remington, those are also small primers. So just know that about the Primer Pro for this time at its initial introduction. Okay, so to get the primer tube ready, we're just going to slide off the yellow end. That's the pickup end. We're going to slide on the magnetic collar, which comes on the machine. It's just stuck in place. Pull that off and then push it onto the end of the primer tube. And it's a pretty stiff fit. I don't really think it necessarily needs the set screw, but there is a set screw here as well. We're not going to over tighten that. Just very slightly snug it. That's a 2.5mm Allen key that you're going to need for that. And then the tube kind of clicks in to this holder, and then when it clicks in place magnetically, you just want to spin it a little bit to make sure that it seats perfectly concentric. This is going to sit on this platform here. My reloading bench has almost a foot of thickness right off of the front edge, and you can see the way that the primer tube hangs down, that actually would interfere with my bench. So you're going to be able to see this a little bit better, and I've got it on this wooden platform so that the primer tube can hang down kind of at an angle. You're going to want to keep that in mind. Very simple solution if you do need to extend your bench top, if you have anything that's going to interfere down there and below. Okay, so that is all there is. We push this button. It's going to go through its routine of running. We are ready to drop in some primers and do some loading. One thing I realized after my initial setup was you actually want tube protruding from above this magnetic collar, and that's actually called out in the quick start guide. I didn't initially see that, and the tube wasn't seating perfectly. And what I would suggest doing is doing multiple fits for the magnetic collar so that when the tube bottoms out up at the top of the socket here, you have just ever so slight of a gap or no gap. And then again, you want to spin the tube a little bit to make sure that it seats perfectly. All just a part of getting that initial set of settings dialed in. Now we can take primers. I've got Federal 205 because what I'm going to load next on the Dillon XL650 is 223 Remington. I use these Federal 205s all the time. I've dumped 300 of them into this bin. We can just dump those into the collator, hit the button, and we're off and running. Initially, it's going to load up the collator, and then we can start to see primers sliding down the slide here and filling up the drop tube. Double Alpha suggests between 200 and 400 primers, and this is 300. If you put more than 400, it'll still work, but it just might slow down just a little bit. So now we have the tube. We can drop that into our press. I'm just going to drop it back into the collator here. Let's go ahead and load another tube, and I'll show you what it looks like on the slide side here. Now we just hit the button again, and it's going to start loading another tube. And you can see once it's primed with primers, the primers come at a pretty fast rate. I actually spent some time on the phone with Double Alpha to learn about the mechanism. It's really interesting how this thing works. There's actually basically a mechanical fail-safe. These primers cannot get through the passageway unless they are in the correct orientation. And in fact, they did a test where they ran 10,000 primers through the Primer Pro and not a single one was inverted. And that's exactly what you want when you're loading bulk ammo. You want a tool that's going to be reliable, and you don't want upside down primers in your ammo because you're going to have to break down those rounds or throw them away. That's kind of a major pain. Let's load another tube. This time I want to show you a view where you can see the collator side and the slide. Just going to dump those back in. Replace our cotter pin, snap things in place, give it a little rotate, and hit the button. I cannot wait to load bulk ammo with this Primer Pro. I don't mind dumping more cases in the case feed. I don't mind dumping more powder in the powder measure, but now to just be able to pick up the tube, pop the pin, and have that stack of primers fall down. The Dillon has the low primer warning, so I don't even have to worry. This should really help me with my throughput because loading primer tubes does definitely constitute a lot of time when you do it manually. And there we go. And again, it'll optically sense 99 primers. Why 99? Because there might be a plus or minus 1 on the amount that actually get through, and it's better to have 99 than 101. The user interface on the Primer Pro is super simple. You've got the toggle switch for the AC power going from the adapter to the unit, and then facing you there is the single multifunction button. After you power up the unit, when you hit the button, short press, it's going to start up the unit. short press will stop the unit, and then like I said before, there's this optical sensor and it's counting primers and it's going to stop at 99. But if you want to reset that count, like you have half of a tube of primers that was loaded and you decided to change or something like that, you just hold that button down for 5 seconds and you'll see a rapid blink sequence. So this LED is used not only with the optical sensor to count the primers, but it's also a multifunction indicator. It'll flash 5 times after you power it up. It will be on continuously while you're loading, and then if there is some sort of error, there's certain error codes with blink sequences. You can look in the owner's manual to see what all of those are. So the Primer Pro was designed to be dead reliable. It's designed to be fast, and it's designed to be inexpensive. Pre-orders just opened up the day of the filming of this video. It's $199 US. That's about half the cost of some of the other systems that compete from a features and functionality standpoint. And as I mentioned, this unit has been designed with this fail-safe mechanism. It cannot feed a primer upside down, and that means you don't have to worry about upside down primers, which is great. So pre-orders are open now. If you're one of the early adopters of this machine, if you order it now as a part of that pre-order, they plan to start shipping late December 2019, early January 2020, somewhere in that time frame. And for now, there's going to be a limited quantity available. I'm really excited about this thing. I think it's a great product. From what I've seen so far, I think it's going to really help my reloading efficiency and make it a lot more enjoyable as well. What do you think? That's what I want to know. Please drop a comment. Are you going to order one of these? Would you love one of these? Do you wish Santa could cram one of these down the chimney and give it to you for Christmas? I'd love to hear all about it. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget, I'm on Patreon and I got these Ultimate Reloader shirts at the store. Links in the video description. Also a link to the full article. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications because I got a lot more bulk loading to do, and this Primer Pro is going to be featured in those videos. Until next time, happy shooting and happy reloading.